All right, we are live. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Shiji? But I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you still hear me? I can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello, I can't hear you. No. Still can't seem to hear you.
Yeah, I don't think that is any easy.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can I by you?
Okay, great, great. I can hear you too. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah, thank
oh
you.
okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Think others will join us probably because we started quite late.
Yesterday.
Yeah, but I believe, yeah, I think there is one. Please, if you are online, just say hi. Let's see your comment so that we can acknowledge your presence. All right. So please just give me 1 minute. Let me try and send the reminder out and we can just start. Apologies for being late. Yeah. Okay, so that we don't keep wasting much of our time. I believe. Okay. Hi, Oye Tunde. Nice to have you here. All right, let me just start right away now. I think some people are joining us now. It's good to have my friend, my brother here today. He's, he's someone that I value so much. He's for his wealth of knowledge and smartness. And he's a doctor. Yeah, I'm just going to introduce him briefly. He's a PhD holder in biomedical sciences from City University, Hong Kong. He became a doctor in 2022. He's an expert in large scale data analysis. Um, he's into proteomics, big data. He's also a veteran or an expert in financial market analysis. He's also a machine learning application expert. He has some cross domain experience across biomedical research, financial technology, and he has built a quantitative trading system. He's also, like I said, he's a doctor in biomedical research. He has a lot of interest in um, sound health, in innovation, and in tech, as you can see from the profile I read through. So We are glad to have CG here today. Yeah, I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you so much for honoring us. It's a privilege to have you because we know, yeah, first the time zone, then a lot of things has to be put in place to have you here today. So I think we can just hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shiji. Any word from you before we get started? Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Thank you all for joining our conversation today. It's a privilege to talk to you all. Our conversation will be based on energy management and how we can best use our time to maximize our potential. And I believe it will be a rewarding time here. So, as we progress in this program, if you have any question, please note them down. At the end of the conversation, we'll have time to take your question and uh, get feedback. So, also special thanks to Michael for the invite. I was surprised, and yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. So we'll go straight into the details now.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's have you. Thank you so much.
So can you see my slides?
Okay, let me put it up on stage. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
great.
No, my
Okay, so
slide,
okay, this
my slide.
again the option. Yeah, slide.
So the next slide.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, like I mentioned, in the course of our conversation, we'll talk about things that could improve our health. But it's very important to understand this. Can you go back to the second slide? That any of the information or tips shared in this presentation is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to serve as a medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment for any condition. And then if you have any health issues, it's better to talk to a qualified healthcare provider. Okay, that said, we'll go into the details now. So, um, as a tech professional, we all face similar challenges. One
Mm,
of which is tight deadlines. We all have projects that we need to submit to update our superiors at a particular time. Besides this, we also have to learn new techniques. So the tech ecosystem keeps evolving. What worked 2 months ago might not necessarily be what you use today. So there's a constant need to evolve. Along this is demand to be able to work from Monday to Sunday if possible. So we have a lot on our hands. So how best can we manage ourselves? So that's why we are here. Are there things that you could do to better manage yourself to be more productive? And then one thing I want us to realize is that a poor health can jeopardize your chances in life. If so, let's take this as an example. Let's say you wake up in the morning while on your bed, you plan certain things out, or maybe the night before you already have certain things you want to do. But if there is no energy to back up your desires, you can't fulfill them. So it is critical that we have energy to
mm,
pursue our
mm,
dream. Otherwise,
mm.
it remains plans. So, um, in the course of our conversation today, we'll highlight things that we can do to help us maximize our potential, like I mentioned. So, can you go to the next slide?
All right.
So, there are two sides to this. We can manage our time, and also we can manage our energy. You can't do without one. So, both are important. You can manage time and also manage your energy. But we'll start with energy management. Time management, most people are a little bit aware, okay, this is what I need to do. But we'll start with energy management, and then towards the end of the presentation, we'll dive back and then look at what we can do to manage our time better. So, energy management uh, is important because our energy is finite. So, we can learn from Bezos. Bezos says that he prefers to make major decisions not in the evening. So he prefers to make major decisions in the morning where his energy is at peak. And from our experience, you will know that maybe for you, you think or over the years you've observed that your energy is usually high in the morning. So that's an important information. So energy level fluctuates over the course of the day. It's not the same throughout the day. So maybe in the morning you are energized. That's a particular pattern you have to recognize. Some people maybe it's late in the evening. It feels like evenings are a new day. That's something you have to
mm,
know. But the
mm,
core concept is that energy levels is not the same all throughout the day. It fluctuates.
mm,
It's important for us to understand how your body works.
mm,
So having said that, then we'll now look what kind of energy are we talking about. So we can, in a way, classify the energy in this sense to mental, physical, and emotional. So each of these
mm,
categories is very important. Body bedrock is the physical energy. So without physical energy, it's difficult for you to really have sustained mental energy over the course of the day. And also, our emotional energy is also very important. Oh, go to the next slide.
okay.
Uh, thank you. Yeah, so here we would want to highlight two important things that we can constrain. Let's say you have to work for 3 hours a day. How can we
Mm,
ensure that you work at your peak energy levels? So now we are constraining the number, the duration. So let's say you have just 3 hours to work in a particular day. What can you do? Or how can you imagine if those during those 3 hours you work at your peak energy levels? And then the other part is how can you well prioritize the tasks you want to do? How can you prioritize properly such that in 3 hours you can maximize? So these are the two things we'll be looking at in depth. So can you go to the next slide? So there's a constant battle between managing time and also managing your energy, but both are important.
mm,
Okay, so now let's say you resume work at 9 a.m., which is maybe depending on where you are in the world, maybe you resume 9 or 8. Usually in the morning, most people are full of energy, they are excited. But after
mm,
working for a few hours, you observe that you're a bit tired.
mm,
What
mm,
can you do at a particular time? So there are a few things that you can actually do that can help you. So let's say you work for a few hours, short burst of energy,
mm,
and then you notice you might need to do something else to continue the work. One thing you can do is to move around. So that's movement. Movement is very important. If you notice that
mm.
you're tired, move around. And also posture is very important. So we spend a
Posture.
lot of posture. Yeah, posture.
Mm,
You
mm,
sitting,
mm,
not just sitting. You can also stand. But your overall posture at work is very important. Whether at work or even at home, the way you sit is
mm,
critical. So you want to watch your posture, and also movement. So let's say you sit for 30 minutes. It's really good that you move around. It helps improve circulation all around your body. So let's say you sit for 30 minutes, you want to try to move around after 30 minutes and then come back again to continue your work.
mm,
So that
mm,
said,
mm,
hydration is also another thing. So
mm.
movement one, your posture is critical, and also you hydrate. Uh, Preferably the water you drink has some form of electrolyte in it so that uh, you don't lose too much of electrolytes when you drink a lot of water. So you
Mm,
hydrate, make sure you move around, and also your posture is critical. So let's assume something. Let's say you work from morning till some minutes before noon, and then for whatever reason, your boss fixed a meeting at noon. So basically, you are transitioning from a high energy to low energy. You are a bit tired at noon. You want to
mm,
go for lunch, but it's not possible. So
mm,
what can you do to stimulate energy? So in
mm,
this part of the presentation, we are looking for looking at ways to change from low to high energy on demand. So we're talking
Mm,
about strategies to change energy level on demand. One
mm,
good technique is breathing technique. But let's start from low energy to high energy, which
mm,
if
mm,
you be frank with ourselves, of course, a bit frequently. Let's say you're tired, but you need to do something, and it's not what you need to do is not life and death, where you just have to do it. But you need to motivate yourself. One
mm,
way one easy technique is using inhalers. The inhaler basically contains menthol. So when you inhale, it's more or less triggers your body, and then you feel excited, you feel energetic. It's
mm,
popularized by Belfort. I have tried it, it works. So that's one way to move from low energy to high energy. Another technique you can use to move from low energy to high energy is breathing technique, where you inhale. So in this presentation, we'll try some breathing techniques. So I want to show us how to move from low energy to high energy using a breathing technique now. So it
mm,
basically involves you breathing in gently and then breathing out forcefully. Like you want to
mm,
sneeze, you breathe in gently and then you breathe out forcefully. Not too. The essence is the main thing is that there's a difference between the breathing in and then the breathing out. The breathing out is a bit forceful, but not too much that you are uncomfortable. That's very important. Yeah, so if possible, can try that out now. We're just assuming that your energy level is low now, and then you want to transition from low
mm,
to high. Then one way
mm,
we highlighted is using breathing technique. So if you want to try, you can try that now. So you breathe
mm,
in gently, and then when you breathe out, do it forcefully. Not too much that you're uncomfortable.
mm,
Yeah. So that's it. Let's say you want to move from high energy to low energy. This is particularly important when you're at night. At night, the day is over. You want to rest. But let's say maybe
mm,
you had to complete till evening. Maybe
mm,
there's an assignment you had to complete. Then few hours to bed. You want to do something to move your body from high energy to low energy. What can you do? Breathing techniques also can also help here. So here we can use the 4-4-8 technique. So you breathe in over a period of 4 seconds, or you count four. Just breathe in gently. You can count one, two, three, four, and then hold for another count. So you hold for count one, two, three, four, and then you
mm,
exhale gently over a period of. So, but the main thing here is that the inhale period is twice. The exhale period is twice of the inhale period. So if you inhale using three by count of three, you want to exhale over six. So if it's
mm,
two, you exhale over four. So that's just the main thing here. Is the exhale is twice of the inhale period. So it really helps. So we can also try that now. Inhale gently and then hold and then
gradually.
yes and exhale gradually. Exactly.
Mm.
Exhale gradually.
Okay, okay. I have questions around that, but yeah, just at the end of the
Yeah.
presentation. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you're just modulating your nervous system to induce calmness. So another one will be to breathe in, and when you want to breathe out, you you voice out like there's a humming sound over an extended period. So the essence is also to modulate your immune system or your nervous system, and also
Mm,
this particular one, it increases the level of nitric oxide in the body. So it's also very
mm,
helpful.
mm.
And then lastly, there we have practice yoga nidra. So yoga nidra is a form of relaxation. It helps to relax. It's something you can actually do at lunchtime. Let's say you just
mm,
completed, you had lunch, and then you want to relax, but you don't want to really sleep. This one really helpful. It helps calms your body, and then more or less reset your body for the rest of the day, so you can go back to work and still be productive. So on this slide, we looked at the importance of hydration, movement, posture, and simple things that we can do to modulate our energy level in
mm,
the course of uh, just to mention this, the technique for moving from low energy to high energy is particularly important when you need energy on demand and you can't take caffeine. Some people take coffee, take things like this, but it's not good for you to take coffee close to bedtime. So let's say you need energy late in the evening and you can't take coffee. Techniques that help you move from low energy to high energy can become really helpful.
mm,
Okay, so move to the next slide. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, physical energy is the bedrock, is the base on which you build other things. So if you don't have physical energy, you struggle with a lot of things. So there are mainly three pillars on which our physical energy is built on. So the first one is sleep. Then the other one will be diet and movement.
mm,
Uh, I don't want to complicate things, so we'll keep things simple. Sleep, as we know, it is very important. But before
mm,
diving into details, any of the strategies that we'll mention here, how would I apply it? It, it is individualized, and also in a way, it depends on what stage of career we are at. Let's say you are a young analyst in a company. Perhaps you have a lot to do. You need to sacrifice. I'm not saying you should not sleep, but you need to work extra hours. But you should not totally ignore your health. So I'll go into the sleep. Uh, the most important thing for sleep is having a consistent routine. So let's say your body expects you to be on the bed by 10 p.m. It's okay to make it 10, 15, or don't make it 11. You can do 30 minutes minus or 30 minutes plus, but make sure you are around your bed by 10 p.m. so that your body can go to sleep. So having a consistent routine is critical.
mm,
Another one will be sleeping in a dark, cool room. So the way our body knows if it's day or night is exposure to light. So you want to remove any sort of light from your room, make the room dark. And it's not just when you're about to sleep that you reduce exposure to phone or any device that emits light. You want to do that as early as possible before bedtime. Perhaps 2 hours before bedtime, you reduce screen time. And if you
mm,
have to work, there are certain glasses that you can use to reduce exposure to blue light. So that's something else that can help. So sleep so the body usually goes through cycles. So roughly each cycle lasts for about 90 minutes. It can be shorter, it can be longer, but roughly 90 minutes. So if you can get 8 hours sleep per night, you should be fine. But the main thing here is that sleep in a dark, cool room, have a consistent routine, and also avoid screen before bedtime. Yeah, so there are other things that you can actually do to improve your sleep quality. I'm not going to supplement or food here, but eating before bedtime also can negatively affect your sleep quality. So you want to avoid eating solid food. I
mm,
imagine a lot of people on this watching us this afternoon, uh, maybe blacks, right, and Africans, where we eat solid food. So you want to try as much as possible to avoid eating solid food, be
mm,
it amala, semo before uh, perfect time because your body needs to digest the food. That's
Mm.
also very important. So about diet, diet is critical because that's source of nutrient for the body. The body cannot thrive, cannot live long without input, energy input from the surrounding. So diet is key. So the question is, how do you get a perfect diet? So that's the question most people ask. Okay, what's a perfect diet? But one thing we need to realize is that over the course of the last 30 years, what experts classify as the best diet has changed over time. So if you talk to somebody who, I mean, if you read literature 10 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago is a bit recent, 30 years ago,
Mm.
life you find that fats are not good. But nowadays, you have people promoting that fats are good for health. So what people think today, or what people categorize as the best diet, may not be what would be the best diet in the next 10 years. But there are
Mm.
strategies that are clear, that they are clear cut.
Mm.
The strategies that are clear cut, and also you don't need to follow what is popular. You need to follow what works for your body. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that follow what works for your body, and then avoid things that are known to cause issues. Okay, so now let's say you drink for 12 hours and you drink often. It's known. That's not going to change. Alcohol is dangerous to the body. You want to reduce that, eliminate it as much as possible, as fast as possible. And then also, we should not rely on our willpower. In the morning, for most people, you can make tough decisions. So you can say, okay, I can keep alcohol in my room, or I'm just using alcohol as an example. It could be beverages. No, it could be drinks. Yeah, you know the ones I'm referring to. It could be drinks. If you think something is not good or it's not something you want to eat, don't keep it around you, such that when your willpower is low, you won't be able, or you won't find them around. So anything that you don't want to eat or you plan on eating, don't buy them or keep them at home. So that's
Mm.
the easy thing to do. And also plan ahead, because when we get hungry, the probability that you eat whatever you find increases. So also you want to plan your meals ahead of time. If you want to eat this particular food, plan, okay, this is what I will buy, this is how I will cook, so that when the time comes, you can easily, or you just implement the strategy and then buy or pick out the food and eat. So snacking also does not help, because most of the food that you buy outside are not are not necessarily the best food. So it's also good to avoid unnecessary snacking unless you have to do it. So focus. So plan your meals ahead. Anything that you don't plan to eat, don't keep them around you. So that's the main thing from here. I won't go into type of food. Avoid this kind of food. That's not necessary, like I mentioned earlier, because what actually people think is the best changes over time. But the things that are known, stick to them, and then avoid food that will cause damage. That everyone knows that will cause damage. Avoid them. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So movement is critical. We evolved by moving around. So your body does not expect you to sit down in a single place for hours without moving around. So that's it. Movement is a low intensity. So let's just moving around. It's just low intensity. It's also important to find time to exercise. Find time to exercise and also make recovery important. So when you exercise, plan for ways to help your body to recover by eating well and also resting. So exercise is critical. Also make sure that you recover properly, so that when next you need to exercise, your body is ready to take on the next challenge. So exercise. But the main thing with exercise is to slowly build up. So when you can download an application or watch a video online, you see people doing a lot of rounds. You need to start from where you are, and then also avoid this common saying that say no pain, no gain. If you're injured and you're exercising that particular part of
Mm,
your body, it might
mm,
aggravate the injury. So if you are injured, let's say part of your body is injured, you can exercise the other part. You're still exercising, but anywhere that you're feeling pain, don't push too much so that it does not cause more issues. So the key lessons here is that the key lesson here is that exercise is important, and if you have to exercise, slowly build the strength over time.
mm,
Okay, so uh, a few tips here. So be it for exercise or eating well, setting a reminder actually helps. So creating a reminder is something that can actually help you, and also planning ahead of time, something that can help you stick to those choices that you made previously.
mm,
Okay, so uh, there are a lot of resource on time management. The list here is not exhaustive. It's just to highlight a couple of things I think can help us. Um, so we'll start with packing things law. So let's say you have a task and you have
mm,
a day, you categorize a particular day to be free. If the task will take you just an hour, just
mm,
because not fix a particular duration for this task, it's likely that you spend more than 1 hour. We can think about that for a second. We might also have experienced something similar. That let's say you want to do something, but you think you have the whole day to yourself. Instead of using an hour, you end up spending 4 hours. And even at the end of 4 hours, it's half done. Then you need to stop it and go somewhere and then come back in again to continue. So it's critical for us to stick to time that will specify that the task will be completed. And even
mm,
if it's not completed by that time, we can extend. But having the mindset that I want to complete this thing by within this time frame really helps. It helps and then ensures that you put in your best within that particular specified time. And also, it's important for us to avoid overscheduling. There needs to be balance between your commitment and your energy levels. Another important thing, so the information in this slides how need to be applied carefully. In that, the
mm,
certain things. Okay, so let's say you're a junior worker at your workplace. At most of the time, you need to report. But let's say you have to manage people, then what we're about to discuss now can really be helpful. I would include other resources in the comment section,
mm.
or I would include it that would help us uh, get a better understanding of what I mean here.
Thank
So
you so much.
when you give out a task to somebody, you need to define what done mean. You can send out an instruction. Okay, this is what you need to do. Solve this problem, and the person tries, and then after a few hours, sends you back the so-called answer, and then you look through. You think it can do better, but you haven't defined what done means. So when you give out the task to somebody, it's critical
Mm,
if you want to manage your time well to define what done means, so that when the person completes the work, there's a list or checklist the person can compare to. Okay,
mm,
this is what I'm expected to do. Does it meet the criteria? This will use the back and forth. Oh, I've completed the work. Can you have a look?
mm,
Once you find what done means, it helps you manage your time better. And then also, it's not unusual for people in your team to bring unsolved questions. So I'm facing this particular problem. And then because people know you are the expert, they just keep bringing things to you. Oh, there's something wrong. Can you have a look? But it can help both the manager and then people under him or her if they implement this rule. You can call it 131 rule. The central message is that when people bring problems to you, they are expected to think about it and also bring possible solutions. So the person is not sure how to solve a problem, but the person can at least make an attempt. I'm facing this
Hmm.
problem. This is what I think might work. That makes the conversation easier. It makes the problem solving easier than you troubleshooting the whole problem yourself. Because many times people closest to the task actually have better insight. So you can also learn from them rather than you just telling them what to do and then perhaps not solving the problem as soon as possible. So when people under working with you bring problem, encourage them or make it known that they are also expected to bring possible solution alongside. Like I mentioned earlier, that it's also critical for us to manage our energy as we manage our time. So, and also at the beginning of the conversation, we mentioned that or we established that our energy levels not usually the same over the course of the day, it fluctuates. So
Hmm.
it's important for us to set critical tasks when we think our energy levels are the highest. So you want to, when you think you need to solve, if you need to solve a tough problem, schedule such problem to times when you know you're sure that your energy level will be really high. So you can also the implication is that you spend less time on the task at those periods. Unlike when you're so tired and you're just struggling to do the job.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Another thing we might consider is classifying tasks. There are certain tasks. Let's say take exercise for example. Depending on how intense the exercise is, it's likely that at the end of the exercise you're tired. So in this case, you want to categorize exercise as possibly draining depending on how intense it is. And then certain time tasks that are energizing. So those tasks you want to do maybe in the morning. So you want to classify tasks depending on if they are energizing, draining, or neutral. This will help you to plan subsequent things that you do. So let's say you want to do a task that you possibly will be draining, then you don't want to make a big decision after that because you're possibly tired. So categorizing tasks depending on how much energy they will consume and how you feel after the task is also important. Another one will be don't overcommit yourself. Here, don't do too much, and also to track our energy level over the course of the day. So that'll be all for now. It's question time.
Wow, 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 wow. This is massive. If you are just joining us, I think I didn't do that at the beginning. So if you are just joining us, we have in the house Dr. Damola Faleti, uh, a biomedical research expert from City University in Hong Kong in China. So our visitor today is communicating with us all the way from China. You can see the distance. So glad to have you again. If you are just joining us, what we are looking at is navigating and preventing burnout in data-driven careers. Right? We are not just looking at only data for data professionals. This will benefit everyone in the tech world. And even if you are not a tech person, I believe this is going to be very, very useful for you. It's been a lot of information, a lot of useful tips shared so far. Thank you, Dr. Faliti and Damola. We are really grateful. So I'm going to move on to questions now. Yes, I can see you, Tunde. Kende, sorry, if you have questions, you can just drop in the comment section. All right. I have few questions I've written down here. please drop your questions in the comment box, so I will also attend to them. My first question is, you mentioned bomb inhaler. Yeah, is that, where can that be gotten? Is that available nationwide, or yeah, is that something someone can get easily? Yeah.
Um, I think it should be available in Nigeria, but it's quite similar to Mentor, Baba Blue. There's the product back in the days called Baba Blue. It's very similar. The only difference is that Baba Blue you have to swallow, but the inhaler, the bomb bomb is an inhaler. So that's just the difference. It's all based on Mentor.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
the active
okay,
ingredient in
okay,
both is Mentor.
okay. Wow. So menthol can be used in place of this boom
Yeah,
bomb
yeah,
inhaler.
yes, yeah. But
Okay.
the boom boom, no, I'm not saying it can be used. But if you can buy the boom boom inhaler, it's different. If you take it through your nostril, it's a different
Mm,
experience. It's different experience.
mm,
It's
mm,
different.
mm.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Yeah. My next question here is, yeah, you mentioned something about breathing in and out, the techniques. So for how long should this be done, and how frequent, right? Maybe in a day, must it be done maybe three times? How frequent and for how long? Maybe 10 minutes in it. So if you are doing it for 10 minutes, then maybe you are doing it for 10 minutes, then you go maybe 5 sets or something. So how frequent should that be done? Yeah.
Um, Thank you for your question. I think you want to do it as long as your body is comfortable with it. So, in an ideal setting, 5 to 10 minutes is okay. But let's say you have a back injury um, that is quite painful. You want to avoid excessive breathing techniques. So, even if you have plans to do something for 10 or 5 minutes, if you realize that your body is not comfortable with it, you have to stop. So, that's what I'm trying to say. So, there's no fixed time point where you have to do it or you have to keep doing it. If you try
Mm,
it for a bit and you think or you're sure that your body's not really taking what you're doing, it's better to stop. But over a course of 10 minutes, it's fine.
mm.
Yeah, 10
All
minutes,
right.
yeah, 10 minutes, okay.
Okay. Okay. So before I ask the next question, okay, someone is so before I ask the next question, I would like to ask. So you mentioned during sleep, you're saying maybe an average of 4 to 6 hours per day, right? If I'm correct. So
Yeah, cycle.
okay, when you say cycle now, so do you mean in 24 hours? That's the cycle, 4 to 6 hours in 24 hours. I want to understand that.
Yeah, that should be around 8 hours.
Eh?
So so if one cycle is 90 minutes, so it's not fixed. It changes from person to person. So the number of minutes, the duration per cycle is not fixed. But the ideal uh, thing is to have about 4 to 6 cycles in a particular day, preferably continuous. So with that, you're looking at 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Okay, 6 to 8 hours. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
so where I'm really going now is what also, because we are talking about tech professionals, data, people and the rest. So now, what of, so because I have some people that will say, okay, man, let me do 3 days stretch. Let me just finish the task I'm working on. Let me just do 3 days straight. Let me finish the task I'm working on. Then after, when I'm done, I will just, instead of doing 6 to 8 hours you talked about now, I'll just do for like sleep for like 15 hours or 10 hours, just sleep all day at least to cover up. Does that really work, or is that just, is someone just doing that for being sick, or does that really cover up in a way? Is that something like that?
Um, so thank you for the important question. So, like I mentioned earlier, some of what we share tonight needs to be personalized. If you're a junior analyst in your company and you need to put in extra hours, perhaps you might not be able to get enough sleep in a particular day. But one thing we need to realize is that uh, you eventually pay for it. Yeah, because over time, if you uh, do not sleep properly for a day, maybe you're fine. But over because of many days, your performance will decline. So you might think you're okay, but gradually your performance will keep going down. So there's a cost. You have to pay a cost. Yeah, you have to pay a cost.
I didn't hear that. You have to what?
There's a cost to skipping sleep. So even if you think
Mm,
you're okay, you'll eventually pay a cost because your performance will decline over time, and also your health will likely get worse over time. So if you do it for
mm.
just a single day, maybe you're okay. But if you're doing the same thing over a course of many years, for most
Mm,
people, you run into trouble.
I get that. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So my next question will be: you mentioned you talked about avoiding screens before bed.
Yes.
So for how long before bed? So maybe okay, I've been working. I'm working till like 10. Is it for just so if I know I want to go to bed by 11, do I stop seeing my screen by 9:30 so that I do 30 minutes avoidance of screen? So for how long before going to bed? And
I think
does when you're talking about screen, are you talking about PCs or any screen, be it phone or anything? Yeah.
exactly all screens that emit blue light, basically.
Mm,
But if you have to watch like work on a computer, one thing you can do is to actually wear blue light blocking glasses. There are glasses like that. I have I have around here. Yeah, you can put on blue light blocking glasses. I don't want to put it on now, but you can put it on. And then another thing I do in the evening is to turn off turn off white lights. So when I get home at night, I don't use white light. Use basically red light. It
mm.
also it has calming effect on the body. So basically tells your body to relax a
Wow.
bit.
So
So
white light
in the evening,
can
it
have
means
a great
instead of
effect
turning on
on.
white fluorescent light, use red light.
Wow. So white light can have a great effect on how your body positions to rest. Wow, great. I think that is I'm learning that for the first time. I think yeah. Thank you so much. My next question, before we take the one in the chat. Okay, so what if like you said, you also mentioned that this is Africa. Some part, most of the audiences that would listen to this might be African. So, what if I eat the heavy food, maybe the pando yam or the amala? What if I eat it around 6 p.m. and then I still do some exercising and then I go to bed by maybe 9 or 10? Am I fine, or I just have to avoid any heavy food at all costs in the?
Um, I don't think one has to avoid heavy food at all costs. And how long you need to take an heavy food before bed needs to. I mean, it depends on the individual. So I think 1 hour before bed is perhaps just too close. So maybe one can try to give three a try, four, five, and then see which works best. And then one important thing that we need to realize is that you can only improve what you track. I don't want so during the course of the conversation tonight, I've tried as much as possible not to mention anything that I would buy or supplements that are expensive, or rather focus on simple things that we can implement right away. But you
Mm,
can only improve what you track. So the only way you can know if eating two or 3 or 4 or 5 hours before bed impact your sleep is to actually track your sleep quality. The
mm,
only way to know if a breathing technique or anything you do to improve your health or your energy level or whatever is to actually track it. So uh, we need to invest or find ways to track our health metrics is critical. Otherwise, you are not sure if what you are doing is working or if you're
Mm,
just wasting your time again. Yeah, so we need to also track our metrics is critical. I use Wolf, but my colleague has a powerful, a wonderful device that measures blood pressure. So it's about finding what works for you. But
mm,
we all need to track or at least make attempt to track your health metrics. It's very important. Otherwise, you are not sure what's going on.
mm,
I'm
mm.
not here. I'm not talking about doing blood tests every day. I'm talking about information you can get from electronic devices like wearables.
Hello?
Yeah,
I didn't hear the last statement.
I'm talking about in metrics that you can get from wearables.
Hmm. Okay. 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 I think yeah maybe the speak device is not
Yeah.
at some point.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Hi, is better now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that it's critical for us to track our health metrics. And the easy way to do that without drawing blood or going to the hospital is using wearables, devices that you can basically place on your body throughout the day,
Hmm.
and it gives you feedback on how your body is, how your body is responding to a particular thing you're trying out or exercise.
Hmm.
You can also get information about your sleep quality using some of these wearables.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
one thing my colleague does is using a device to measure blood pressure. That's one good way to do it. But the main thing is to get started if you can.
Hmm. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. So there are some people. So that will be my final question. I think. Let's see. So so I want to ask. So there are some people. There are a lot of people here in Nigeria or here in Africa. I think globally it depends. So it depends on the work culture of the company one works with, right? So it's very hard because now maybe sometimes after even after work there are still some requests maybe from top management. That this was one of the questions from some of those that are registered. By the way, we had over 100 registered for this session. So now one of them said, what if you are unable to, for example, on Friday, maybe in the evening when you get home again, maybe there is a request you need to attend to. During the weekend, the work spills over. How do you manage, creating a boundary to rest and then still perform optimally? So what I'm trying to say is that, so for example, you find a way, you create a boundary where you create a time where you say, okay, enough is enough at this point. I need to go rest. Then maybe when you shift on again, then maybe the requests that were taking your time, you find a way to finish it faster. How do you manage things like this, especially workplaces where the work-life balance is poor? So what can you do, and what are the strategies you recommend? Yeah.
Um, Thank you for your question. So, if I understand it clearly, you're talking about how do you set boundaries such that work does not spill over to
Mm,
weekends or when are you at home. I think
mm, mm,
um, a lot of factors that actually determine how much of an influence you have on your boss.
mm,
The balance between employee power and your employer's power is not fixed.
mm,
It is not fixed. If you're junior staff, it might be difficult depending on where you are. Let's
mm,
say the economy is not really good.
mm,
If you're making unnecessary complaints, it might run into trouble. But it's expected that employers respect and give like work well with the employees. But I would encourage us to do the right thing that you think works for you.
mm,
Or irrespective of what you think works for you, you can communicate your availability to your boss in a polite manner. Let's say your boss gives you something as an order. If you complain right away, the person might not take it well. But let's say you complete the task and then afterwards
mm.
you communicate your availability, then I think that's better. Yeah, so in a
Okay.
nutshell,
Mm.
communicate our availability ahead of time.
Ahead of
And also,
time.
yes, ahead of time.
Mm, mm. Okay, so in a way, you mentioned about sleep, how to manage time. Do you think going into the new year now, a lot of people want to start doing some resolution, new year resolution around this topic we just said, managing, navigating, and preventing burnout. So a lot of people want to make some new year resolution on what they can do. So what will you advise going into this next year as the final word for people or for tech professionals to do to ensure that they have a better productivity, better sleep cycle, and better time management?
I'll say you can start tomorrow. Mhm. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, you can start right away. Because the calendar is just to manage time. You can start tomorrow. So you can start right away. Things we'll discuss tonight, try to implement as early as possible. The main thing is start from where you are. Pick two things,
mm,
implement, and then when you see improvements, you can add more. And also, the way you can
mm,
track improvement is by having a way to measure certain metrics. So if you can get some variables to help you track your data, to monitor your data, that will also be helpful.
mm.
Yeah, I'm
Great.
not saying New Year resolutions are bad, but you don't. What I'm saying is you don't need to wait for that. I mean, wait for the next 2 weeks. You can start right away.
Mm. Start now. Start
Yeah,
now.
start now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me take the only question we have from the chat. Celestine said, how do I avoid waist pain while sitting for so long at work? I think
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mentioned during your presentation, but maybe you can, yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Celestine, for the important question. Yeah, I think uh, posture. So if you currently have a pain, like I said, anything we'll talk about here is not meant to diagnose or treat any condition. So if you have consistent waist pain, it's better for you to see an healthcare provider, certified healthcare provider. That's it. You want to find ways to put out the fire, which is to actually reduce the pain. Then afterwards, find a way to remove the smoke. A way to remove the smoke is to actually remove the cause of the problem. So if you are sure or you think sitting for long hours during work time contributes to the pain, then make sure that you don't sit for too long. So you can try out 20 minutes for 20 minutes, and after 20 minutes, you move around. And also at work, look at your posture. Are you always bending, typing? When you are working on the computer, you are looking at your keyboard, you are not sitting properly. So that's another thing one needs to consider. But the overall message here is that reach out to an healthcare provider to address the pain or at least reduce the pain, and then find ways to address the root cause, which may be that the fact that you sit for long hours. So address that, and also improve core strength, core strength and stability. That's something else that can actually help stability of our core. But even if you improve your core strength and stability, if you still don't sit properly, your posture is poor, you still end up with problem.
All right.
So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's been a very impactful session. Thank you for the slides. Thank you for the tips, and I hope that he has answered your question very well, Celestine. So as we close, thank you so much. Let me go back to slide one. Yeah. Okay, so again, just to close out, this is Damola Faleti, from lab bench to data analytics, a journey into tech. So he's also a tech professional now. Like I said, he's a PhD holder in biomedical sciences. He's going to drop his LinkedIn profile. So in case someone wants to reach out, please, you can help us just drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat box. So people might just want to. I know a lot of people will still watch this session even after this live streaming. A lot of people will watch and they might want to ask some questions. Please kindly drop your LinkedIn profile on the chat box. So, like I said, he's a PhD holder in biomedical sciences from City University of Cornwall. Of course, so he's the best person for this, and I can say that you can take it to the bank. All that he has said today, you can fact check anywhere because he's also an expert in landscape data analysis, proteomics, doing data, financial market analysis, machine learning applications, and of course cross domain experience across biomedical research and building of quantitative trading systems. So he's a veteran. He's someone that is so full of knowledge. So thank you so much again for having us for joining
thank you
us
for the
today.
invite.
It's a real privilege. So as we close out, just your final word. Just a final word. Please kindly help us drop your LinkedIn profile, or maybe you can share with me, then I can share on the chat box so that anyone who wants to just message you on LinkedIn or just check you out on LinkedIn, they can. Yeah. Thank you so much. So your final words as we close. Thank you so much.
Yeah, uh, thank you all for attending, for taking time to listen to our discussion tonight. I hope you found one or two things to implement. Like I said earlier, the most important thing is to get started. And as
Mm,
regards diets, anything you do not plan to eat, do not keep them at home.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. So those
mm.
are simple things that does not require you to buy anything. It does not require to spend anything. Just need to rearrange current things you're doing to get a better result. So thank you all. Talk to you soon again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Oyetunde Kende. I think some people are coming in, going out. At a point, I saw like 6, 7 on the call. Thank you, Yetunde Kende. Thank you, Celestine. Thank you for everyone that has joined, even those that didn't drop a comment. Thank you so much. And I hope that as we go into the new year, we'll take all these tips and live a better life, sleep better, we'll manage our time better, become more productive, and achieve more in 2025. See you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, bye.